Hey polish fans, it's Caroline again and welcome to another video here at Wildman Lacquer. As you can see in today's video, we are going to be doing a sorting video. I have pulled a ton of summer colors and I really need to narrow these down because this is taking me back to a couple seasons ago last fall where I had even more polish than this that I wanted to wear for that season, and of course
that's impossible.
I don't have this many fingers and I don't have this many toes, and I've already done two parts of my summer rack. I've done my OPIs and my Orlys, and I have these totes separated out into my mainstreams and then my indies. And as you can see, I have a ton of indies that I have in beautiful summer colors. This isn't even all that I could have pulled. This is just the ones that as I was pulling from my different bins, totes, drawers, etc., I was like, ooh, that is a perfect summer color, or new to my collection, I want to try to wear that. And yeah, I really need to narrow this down. So I think what we're going to do for this is start by sorting them by color. That way I can start by seeing if I've duped myself, or at least close enough, because I'm sure with these cream colors I'm gonna have at least some similarities between a few different color families. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get sorting. Yes, I know, love bug. What are you doing, sweetheart? Alright, so this is my blues, mermaid shades, and greens from my mainstreams. I seem to be dealing mainly with three primary groupings of these colors. The brighter, deep shades of summer blue, think Sally Hansen Pacific Blue, that sort of a shade, into my mid-tone blues. We've got a lot of these mermaidy shades, which are either glitter like this Zoya, which is Muse, or in these shimmers like this one, which is Sephora by OPI, which is Mermaid to Order. So I have a lot of that type as well, that beautiful mermaid shimmer that goes from green to aqua to blue. And then my greens, and those run the gambit from darker bright greens into, again, sort of mermaidy shades leaning more towards the green side, into some light Tiffany box blues, into our more neon greens. So I already know that the indies are going to be a lot harder to color organize because we have colors like this that have a gazillion different things going on. I don't even know if my camera's going to focus on it from this angle that I have going on, but reflective glitter, you've got multi-chrome, you've got all the goodies in there, but we're going to see if we can't make sense of this. Are you waiting for attention, baby? Are you waiting for attention, love? Oh, sweet girl.
Oh my gosh.
So just a few more indies than I had of the mainstreams in each color family, but I tried to stick with the three basic color families, the darker summer blues, the turquoise greens, which I think I may have some overlapping here in this next section, which is the greens. So I do have quite a lot of these brighter greens. So let's go ahead and see about whittling that section down, because this is a color I'm excited to try, but I know I won't wear as many as I have pulled. So let's go ahead and do that color category first. Let's go ahead and zoom you guys in there. Take a peek at what we have so far. The first one is a really bright neon from Sweet and Sour. This one is called Oh Homie. This one is pretty new to my collection. I think this one came to me in a mystery box. And this one to me is a pretty standard... Ooh, sorry, the lighting is awful, isn't it? This one is a pretty standard green neon, which I don't have a whole lot of in my collection. I think I have more than I think I do, but it's not because I bought them individually. It's because they've come to me through mystery boxes a lot of the times. But I think this is the only true green neon, at least in this section, that I've pulled. So I think I do want to hold on to this one in my summer rack. It should stand out. We'll put it at least in the maybe pile up there. Okay. On to our specialty greens. I mean, most of these are specialty finishes. I think we only have a couple of creams, literally a couple of creams, 2 creams. The rest at least have a subtle shimmer to them. All right, so this one is Femme Fatale's Well Dressed Pickles. And this is one that's definitely unique. I mean, like I said, this is going to be harder than I thought, even for this section. But I mean, look at that really interesting flash that we have. We have these either micro glitters or micro flakies. I think they might be micro glitters. Really neat in this base. I want to put that in the maybe pile as well. Now, this one's going to get a pass immediately to the to be worn pile because I love this polish and I've only worn it one time. This is a cupcake polish called Game of Cones. It was originally a solar polish that would turn like purple in the sun. Now, mine's quite a few years old. This is from 2000. Actually, I was going to say 2019. It says it's guaranteed good until 2019. So I'm not sure when it originally came out, and apologies if my lighting ended up changing. I did try to adjust it, and I don't know if I got it back on the right color setting. But anyways, what I liked about this is when I wore it, I loved this tone of green. It was very much outside my comfort zone, and I had a really nice time wearing it. It also has additional shimmer to it as well. This time you have pink to orange in at least 2 different sizes of particles, and I think there might be a bit of hollow, maybe a tiny bit of hollow, but just a beautiful color. So that's a must in my summer rack. Okay, this is my one and only topper in the green family, so I think this is also going to get a pass directly to my summer rack. This one is Sally Hansen's Scale Up, and this is a really pretty flaky and glitter topper. You have it in a very squishy green base with these iridescent glitters and flakies. I'm not actually sure how much of that is going to come through on the nail because it is such a squishy base, but there it is on the brush and wand. I mean, look at those twinkles. Very pretty. You get these flashes of aqua and pink and those larger flakes. There, I think that might have been the original lighting that I had. Okay, man, I know I won't wear all of these in the next 3 months, but all of them are so pretty. Okay, these two are kind of giving the same vibe. I know they are different shades. The Lynn B Designs is actually darker, and I think that's because it's a thermal. But we have Moonshine Manny's Do You Boo and Lynn B Designs Flaming Zombie, and I think they're similar enough. I mean, I can't really tell if my Lynn B Designs has dyed in the thermal state because it is lighter in the bottle than my swatch is, which leads me to believe maybe it isn't transitioning anymore. But they do have a very similar vibe in color, so I think I'm going to pick one for my rack. And let's just see how they compare to the one that is must-have so far. Okay, not really that close. Let's see, do I like the flakies or do I like the blue glitter? You see the blue flashes in that one? That is really pretty. I think we're going to do the Moonshine Manny. That's going to go in the maybe, and then this one's going to go in the try it later pile. The next one is Lavish Polish, and this is Key to Paradise. This one is kind of in a league of its own as far as these greens go because I don't have anything else in the same tone. And this is a really pretty color of green. There's also a lot of glitter going on in here. So it's a really pretty combination, especially for summer. There it is on the brush and wand. My lighting in here is just awful. I think I'm gonna have to adjust it again. Hang on. All right, I don't know if that's any better, but yeah, this one's just really neat. It's got a lot going on. It's got glitter, it's got hollow, it's got metallic, and I think even matte glitters in here. So I want to try to get this on my nails. We're gonna put that in the maybe pile. Man, we are not making much progress. Only one in the try it later pile. Let's do the ones that I think I might be able to knock one off of. We've got these three down here, which are kind of giving the same vibes. I know they aren't dupes of each other, but I don't think I need all three on my summer rack in one season. The first one is from 77 Nail Lacquer. It's day 3 from one of their advents last year. Sinful Colors Curry Up and LA Colors Lime Life. Lime Life might actually be more of a yellow now that I'm looking at it next to my others. Yeah, that was more of a yellow, so that's going to go back in the pile to be compared to yellows. And instead I'm going to pull up LA Girls Flex, which is almost like a bleached neon. Now again, they aren't dupes of each other. We have more of a bleached neon in these two, and this one is more of a really interesting green with some blue and pink flashes in it. I mean, this one is extremely unique. This one I think came to me in a Goodwill bag, if I'm remembering correctly. If it wasn't a Goodwill bag, it might have been a mystery box, but I mean, just very, very unique. Okay, I think I finally have the lighting better. Oh my goodness, apologies about all of those changes. Let's go ahead and see that one swatch. There's just one coat. Definitely a yellow lean in that green. I can definitely see the shimmer in it, but we're gonna try that in a second coat. All right, there it is in 2 coats. That's definitely unique. It still is sort of in the same realm as those other 2 yellow leaning greens. Again, not dupes necessarily, but sort of in that same vibe. So do I need all 3? Oh, the 77 Nail Lacquer also has a blue flash in it. See that light blue? In person, there's a couple of different shifts in there. I feel like on camera you're seeing a straight blue. In person, I'm seeing a pinch of like a purple flash in that shimmer. I have had Flex the longest though, followed by Sinful Colors, and then the 77 Nail Lacquer is a fairly new addition to my collection from last year. So I think I'm going to choose one of the older polishes, and I think I'm going to go for the Sinful Colors, so that's going to go in the seasonal rack. The other 2 are going to be in the try it later pile. Gotta make some progress. We are only on the first color. Okay, so the other one that I think is probably going to get a pass into my rack is another one that I've had for a while. I got this a few summers ago and I never wore it. This is Salon Perfects in mint condition, and this is one of their neon pops. This, to me, is a bleached neon, and I really like how these look. This is easier for me to wear than a neon, considering neons up until this point, I will say, have been a bit outside my comfort zone. This year though, I think is going to be the year that I wear neons because I have quite a number of at least neon pinks in my summer rack, and I'm very excited to try them. But this one is still a really pretty color, and mint is one of my favorite shades of green in general. And this is a really nice brighter tone of mint than I usually wear for, say, spring. So this is going to go on to my summer rack. Let's take a look at this one. This is a Zoya called Midori. Let's see this one swatched, because this one I'm not sure about either. I'm not sure if it's a little bit too dark for a summer. I mean, I already have some darker colors on my summer rack. If you watched part 1 of my summer rack, I did my OPIs, I think is what I started with. They had a few darker pinks. And then in my Orlys, which was part 2, I have some really dark colors, like a super dark but vibrant purple. So I do have some darker shades, but this one's not just slightly darker, it is a bit dustier. Ooh, this is a nice tone though. Look at that.
I like it.
I like that one a lot. That one is gonna go on to my summer rack. Down to 5 left just in our bright greens. This one is brand new from the Mooncat summer collection, and I actually have quite a few from that collection that I wanted to wear this summer, but the entire collection was really pretty. And I want to wear this, so this is going to go in the summer rack as well. Let's take a peek at these two, which I sort of organized nearest each other. We've got Nailed It and Polished for Days, Lush and Almost There. Flakies versus Larger Particled Shimmer. Flakies, I feel like we don't really have that many represented other than in our topper here in the greens. The other flaky was at Lynn B Designs, and that got the boot, at least for this year. Shimmers, I do have quite a lot of already in those greens, so do I need another one? I mean, this one is so pretty. Ugh. Polished for Days shimmers are just incredible. Love the color, love the tone of this. It does have a lot of gold in it. Do I need that compared to the other ones? Would that stand out among these? Kind of, sort of, a little bit. Oh, this is not easy. This one, Lush from Nailed It, has these orange flakies. And the bright green is definitely what called summer to me. Meanwhile, the flakies could work for a fall polish, but I know when fall rolls around, I'm not going to want these brighter shades. I'm going to want those deep jewel tones and the dusty tones. So do I try to put this on my summer rack and try to get some use out of it? But the more I put on my summer rack, the less likely it is I'm going to actually wear each polish. We already know this, but ah, goodness. Oi, oi, oi. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to compare flaky to flakies and pull this other flakies out, which is Swamp Gloss's Six Sad World. This was part of the Endless Summer, one of the Advent boxes from, I think, last summer, if I'm remembering correctly. But this one does have flakies in it. It's kind of more in the same lines as those creamier bleached neons though, so completely different. Again, these are not dupes in the least, but for whatever reason I think I'm actually craving the bleached neons instead of the jelly, so I think we're going to put Six Sad World in the rack and put Nailed It's Lush back in the try it again next year pile. Of the two that I have left, we have a very interesting one from 77 Nail Lacquer, which is day number 23 from the same advent as day 3. I don't remember which advent that was. And then we have the Polished for Days shimmer. So this one is very, very unique among all of the polishes that I have on my summer rack and all of the greens. Kind of somewhere between a limey green and a bleached lime green neon. You've got black, white, and lime green glitters in here. It's a very unusual combination, and I think I want to at least try it this summer. But I mean, that's a lot of greens. That's a lot of greens. Holy moly. How many greens can one girl wear in one summer? I don't know. These are the questions that I ask myself, because I really like this one as well. But if I give myself an inch to have 14 greens on my summer rack, what am I going to do when it comes to purples? Yeah. So, are we narrowing that down any? Are we giving any of these the axe? Let's go ahead and see the Polished for Days swatched. I want to at least get that out of my system and see it swatched. Ooh, the sparklies. Oh my gosh. This is not so good. We're already at 40 minutes of sorting, and I'm barely through my greens. This is not good. Send help. Hopefully for your guys' sake, I have whittled that way down. Okay, so here is that Polished for Days, almost there in 2 coats, and my goodness, is that beautiful. I don't know that I helped myself by swatching that, because now I want that in my rack. 9 greens, you guys. 9 greens. Oh my gosh. And 4 in the maybes. How did that even happen? Because I want 1 neon, and this is the only neon, so that has to go over there. Which leaves Do You Boo and wow. Just wow. Because this one was really unique as well, and I really wanted to wear that one. So that one's unusual, and so is that one. Oh my gosh. Okay, so obviously the one must have is this one. This is the one I've worn before, and I definitely want it.
That one. That one. I want my Moonshine Manny and the neon. The Midori was amazing. That one is amazing. That one is amazing. Holy cow, you guys.
Yep, okay. So we are going to cut the Sinful colors. I am just feeling those colors a little bit better.
And can you guys even see them? No, I put them way out of camera angle.
I think I will go ahead and cut this one for this summer. It is incredibly unique, but I have way too many greens and I need to cut some. That one has to go and stay, and this one is just incredibly amazing and shiny and sparkly. So we have 11 greens that are staying. Cut 6 of them. I guess that's kind of helpful.
My goodness, though.
And they're all unique to each other, so there's no dupes. Okay.
Moving on. Sarah.
Okay. Next up, we have our mermaid tones, our greens, our darker greens, as well as these lighter shades of like a dusty but bright blue. I think there's only about 3 of those, so let's go ahead and just compare these with this one. So we have Top Shelf Lacquer Drunk Jenga, Essie's Viva Antigua, Essie's Where's My Chauffeur, and if I can juggle these, China Glazes Can't Stop Branching. Now, this was already one that I was a little iffy on. It's a gorgeous color, but it's not exactly one that was obvious for summer. It is maybe more of a spring color, so let's go ahead and swatch this. I know I swatched it when I got it, but I want to see how I'm vibing with it now. I remember liking the color, and I think this might have been one that tried matte, or am I confusing that with the blue? There was one in the Trolls collection that did dry matte, and I think it's the other one. This one is a lighter shade, and I think for that reason, I was right when I was thinking that for me anyways, I would wear this more in the spring. So that one is going to get the axe. Then for the other 3, Where's My Chauffeur is another one that I think I want to see swatched, because I kind of feel the same way about it, where it's possible it might lean more of a spring shade for me, but I was sort of on the fence about it. I don't want all neons or all brights on my summer rack. I do want to give myself a variety, a few different options. That one's actually very close to Can't Stop Branching. Actually very close to Can't Stop Branching from China Glaze. I think they might be like a shade different. The Essie Where's My Chauffeur might be a touch darker, but only by the slightest difference. Does that make it more of a summer shade? Possibly. And I do like those mint shades. Did I already include one? I think I had Orly's Vintage. Let's pull that and do a quick comparison. Orly's Vintage is definitely greener. The Essie is by far and away much bluer and lighter, dustier as well. Just a pinch, not as vivid as Orly's Vintage. Okay, so Essie's Where's My Chauffeur I think is going to go ahead and be on my summer rack, because it is, at least of the ones that I'm swatching so far, pretty unique in those. I might have to compare it to some in my next category. Let's get these organized. Okay, so we've got our darkest greens up top. The first is Dance Legend Strutter, and this one is gorgeous. I want to see how it swatches just to confirm if I like. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is a very vibrant emerald green with flakies. That is gorgeous. That is definitely a color that I don't have in my summer rack yet, and that's gorgeous. So that's going to go in my summer rack. Next up, we're going to compare these 3. These are all similar-ish. Again, not necessarily dupes of each other, but we have a bright green from Model's Own. This one is called Green Tea. We have China Glaze's Towel Boy Toy, which is a vibrant jungle green with a blue flash. And then we have Top Shelf Lacquer Drink Like a Pirate, Dance Like a Mermaid, which is kind of the same vibe as the one from China Glaze, except with a gold to orangish shimmer. I do realize that I forgot to complete that comparison of the other Top Shelf, but we'll get to it here soon. The Model's Own is a cream. Let's see how it compares to the one that we already have in my rack, which is that Dance Legend. Definitely a less vibrant jewel tone, and of course it is a cream formula. So one of the other greens kind of like this, I want to see how it compares to, because I already have that one on my rack, is an Orly, which was Neon Jungle, I believe. So let's go ahead and quickly see how those compare. And I was wrong, it's Plastic Jungle and it's a way lighter green. So here is the one from Model Zone, here's Plastic Jungle. They are very different indeed. We're gonna compare these two to it first before I make my decision, because that one is really nice green. I like the vibrancy and the color. That shade of green is pretty unique to my collection, I feel like, as well. I know I say that quite a lot, but I really do feel like that is pretty unique. And by comparison, the China Glaze is way more of a turquoise, at least in this first coat. Oh yeah, and this one's actually, the one from Top Shelf is a little bit closer to the Model's Own, but again, not dupes. They are even different shades. You've got more of a true green, maybe a darker primary green in the Model's Own. You've got more of a turquoise in that Top Shelf, which I really like. I'm gonna have to start making some incredibly tough calls because I cannot do 13 of every single color family.
That's just wild. Oh.
So I just mangled the Top Shelf. So let's do that one, a second coat of that one first, so you guys don't have to look at that. This one, you guys, I'm pretty sure is gonna go on my rack. This is absolutely glorious. I really like that. Let's do Towboy Toy. Oh, this one is a stunner too. Oh my gosh. I'm not helping myself, am I? There we have Model's Own Green Tea, the China Glaze Towboy Toy, and Drink Like a Pirate, Dance Like a Mermaid. That one is going in my summer rack. That is glorious. As is Towboy Toy from China Glaze. I know I already wore it, but I mean, that color, wow. It's amazing. There it is up close. That is just such a stunning color. Now, again, my camera really likes to turn greens into blues, so hopefully on your screen it actually is that vibrant, bright summer green. And here is the one from Top Shelf again. One last time. That is absolutely stunning. So I think because those two are just amazing and I really don't need to put all three of these in my summer rack, the one from Model Zone is going to go maybe as an early fall polish. We'll see if that gets pulled back out. Okay, on to these guys. Not that they're anywhere near each other in some cases. In fact, the Rogue Jaw Ready for this is probably going to have to come down here for comparisons. Yeah, because it's just really not that similar. But we're going to do these two, I think. The Wildflower Lacquer, which is Sky Dancer, is just probably not going to even compare whatsoever to these. I mean, that has, do you see how many rainbows that one has? It's amazing. So the Nailed It is Aquaholic and the Bliss is Mimi. This one's going to be another toughie because again, they're not dupes. We have a gold to orange shimmer in Aquaholic, and we have a subtle holographic sheen in the Bliss. I think we're going to do some more swatching because sometimes that helps. Sometimes it makes me want all of the polish though. But we're going to do it for these two. See if one catches my eye a little bit more than the other. Again, not that they're dupes. One of the cats wants in the room. So two of our cats, at least two of them, know how to open our kind of doors. They're the kind that has the little lever handles. Yeah, and yeah, they've learned to open them. So that's one coat of the Nailed It, one coat of the Bliss. So far, the Nailed It is pulling ahead for me. That is really, really pretty. Okay, so I went ahead and just did 2 coats of the Bliss, and I left it at 1 coat for the Nailed It because I think we might have seen this coming a while away, but the Nailed It's gonna win. The Bliss polish we're gonna put back for another time. And the Wildflower is going to get a free pass into the rack because that one is just incredible. So many shifts. I don't think we have anything quite like it in this color range yet in that rack. Okay, next up.
Holy moly, we have
these two to compare with this one. So again, not dupes, but do they fill the same void? Do I need all 3? We've got Book and Snake from Bee's Knees Lacquer. We have Uncut Gems from Quixotic and a Kraken Snackin' on Fish and Ships from Femme Fatale. I think we're gonna have to do swatches on these as well because they're completely different. And I need a reminder of what each of them looks like so that I can make that choice. Okay, wow, well, look at that. So that Bee's Knees lacquer pulls mostly blue in that first coat. That one is the Quixotic, and this is the Femme Fatale. Right off the bat, I am going to say we're going to pull the Bee's Knees lacquer for later. That's probably a better fall polish. The Femme Fatale is going in my rack, and I think I want to actually save the Quixotic for later, because if I'm feeling like cutting them, I'm just going to go with it, because as you saw with those brighter greens, I already have a time making myself cut polishes, so we're just going to go with it. From that, 3 are just putting the Femme Fatale on my rack.
Okay.
Green Teal Shimmers. Have at least a few of those, I want to say. All right, so we're going to do these 3. Morgan Taylor's Stop, Shop, and Roll, Juleps Dominique, and a very sticky LA Colors, which is Voodoo. So again, we're going to have to see how these guys swatch, because that's how I roll. We're going to go ahead and see this swatched. Okay, wowzers. Again, we have beautiful colors, and they aren't even close once swatched. So the Morgan Taylor Stop, Shop, and Roll is a beautiful shimmer. That one from Julep actually has more in it. It has those holographic flakies that I really like. And then the one from LA Colors is, at least in one coat, much more of a squishy, bright green. And then it's full of a blue to purple shifting shimmer. Beautiful. There are 2 coats. So I think by comparison, the Morgan Taylor is a bit dark. I do really like the flakies in that Julep, but again, same deal. I feel like it's maybe a pinch dark for a summer color. So we're gonna go with the LA Colors going in my summer rack. That is a stunner of a color. And while I'm filling it, we're going to cut those other 2. Those can be done at a different time, maybe for early fall. Next up, I want to see this one swatched. This is another LA Colors Aurora Sky. This one I was going to compare to these 2, but I don't think they're even remotely close to each other, because this one is a micro glitter that is very opaque. Holy moly. I was initially thinking in the bottle that it was a bit on the more squishy side, but I was mistaken. There we have 1 coat. That's going to go on the rack as well. That one is pretty unique in the colors that I have already, and I don't really see it being very comparable to any of the other colors, so that's going to go in the rack as well. That was Aurora Sky from LA Colors in the Diamond Crush line. I mean, these are stunning. Okay. Then I think we're going to compare these 3. Again, not dupes necessarily, but do I need all 3 on one summer rack? We have another Mooncat Summer Polish. That one is Catfished. We have Mr. Marine by Trio Lacquer and Ember's Icy Frappe. So I did already swatch the Mooncat collection, so I'm just going to use that swatch there and then swatch the other 2 and see how I feel about them. Ooh.
Oh.
So check out that one from Ember. It's got little pink glitters in it. That is so cute. Okay, so here we have those 3. We've got Mooncat, Trio Lacquer, and Ember Lacquer. And the one from Mooncat is mostly those flakies, a very pretty mermaidy color. The one from Trio Lacquer does have those like pink and rose gold and teal metallic flakies in them. And then the one from Ember has shimmer and little bitty glitters in pink and teal and I think hollow as well. That one I really, really like for summer. It's pretty unique to my rack and I want that for this summer. That is really, really cute. So Ember's going on the rack. This one from Trio Lacquer is such a neat one as well. Very unique. In fact, it's got that blue shimmer that I feel like is coming across pretty well on camera. That one is just so unique as well. I think that one's going to go on my rack too. Uh-oh. This one, I think though, I'm going to actually save that one for later. I mean, it's not that it's not pretty, but I'm really feeling those other colors a little bit more. So Mooncat's Catfished is going to get the X this time. Try again next year. All right, 2 that I think might be pretty comparable to each other is KL Polish Pisces and Julep's Shea. Now again, not dupes necessarily, but they might give the same vibe on the nail. They're both sort of that shimmery blue-green mermaid shade. So I do already have Kale polishes swatched here. So let's go ahead and swatch the julep. Ooh. So there they are, kind of side by side. You've got the julep here on the swatch wheel and then Kale polished on the swatch ring. And of course they're different, but do I like one better than the other? I've had Pisces for a while. Obviously, Kale polish no longer makes polish under Kale polish. They do Lights Lacquer now. But yeah, I think I'm just really liking this one a lot better as far as colors go. So I think we're going to give that one the X for this season. Try it again another time. And then does this stand out enough among the other shimmers that I already have? Because I mean, we did have that shimmery one from Nailed It, which was this one. So they are different. They have a larger particle in the julep, a gold to orange in the one from Nailed It. So they are different. Similar tone in the base though. I think we're going to go ahead and put this in the cut pile. So that didn't make it either. Okay, on to our last little row of these deeper greens into turquoises. The first, I think the oddball out is this one from Rogue. This is Jaw Ready for This. This is in the family of brighter greens, and I honestly couldn't decide if I wanted it to be compared to these ones that we looked at, which I don't know if you can even see on camera. Towelboy Toy from China Glaze, or down here with these turquoise aquas, and it's somewhere in the middle. It's not really comparable to either one, and I think I did wear this last year. It is a really nice bright summer green. I think this one, yeah, it came out in their summer advent last year, and it is a stunning color. But does it stand out? Do I already have something similar? I'm struggling with that. So I guess vibe-wise, it is a little bit more similar to Top Shelf and China Glaze. So since I already have both of those on my summer rack, I don't think I need another one. So we're gonna go ahead and cut that. I do have another Rogue. This one is Happiest Place on Earth. This one I think I will go ahead and cut too. It is a bit dustier in the base. It's kind of more of a dusty robin's egg blue, almost like a dusty, maybe a duck egg blue. And then you've got those brighter tones in the flash of flakies and black matte flakies. But yeah, I think we'll go ahead and cut that. So these last four, I think we're gonna have to, are we gonna have to swatch all of them? I think we're going to cut KB Shimmer's Sure Thing. I do already have Orly's Vintage, and I think they're similar enough that I would get the same vibe. I would probably choose one or the other if I felt like this color, and I don't think I need to wear both in one season, so we're going to cut that one. These other three are very unique to each other. We have Essie's Viva Antigua, that I think we pulled that one to try to talk about, and I failed miserably. As with that Top Shelf Lacquer, that's Drunk Jenga. And then we have Scofflaw's one that I cannot pronounce. I'm actually not even sure what language that might be. It might be Scandinavian or something along those lines. But I mean, look at that. That is incredibly unique. Let's go ahead and take a peek at Viva Antigua. This is one that I got a while ago and I've yet to wear it. It is really pretty, a very nice summer shade, but it is a lot simpler than some of the other colors I have. I mean, I don't only want to have exciting polishes. I want to have some middle ground creams or light shimmers so that I don't only have all the things to choose from, you know, with kitchen sink polishes and whatnot. But I don't know, it's just not doing it for me right now. So I think that's going to get the X. We're going to go ahead and swatch the Scofflaw and the Top Shelf. Obviously they're not dupes, they're completely different. But let's see how it goes. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh wow, Drunk Jenga is actually very light. All right, this one might have been an easier choice because this is Drunk Jenga. That turned out very springy to me, so that's gonna get the cut, and I'll try to remember to pull it out next spring. And then the one from Scofflaw is just super unique, so I want to at least have that as an option on my summer rack. So 12 of those greeny mermaidy shades are going on my rack. We're just gonna go with it. It is what it is.
Too many pretties.
All right, next up is this color family. These are the light to turquoise blues with some of these colors that are lighter when swatched. These are both Zoyas. We've got Charlotte and Muse and other shades like that that have a deep teal, brighter jelly base, and then components in them, and then these brighter turquoises like Bee's Knees Lacquer Aryan. We've got quite a lot in that color grouping as well. Let's get sorting. All right, so I kind of tried to fit them all on screen, but I think we've got some off the edges and maybe some down here in the fourth row that are not showing up. But as you can see, we've got a lot of these darker teal jelly bases with various components, from micro glitter to flakies to shimmer to different kinds of shimmer. Yeah, we've got a lot to go over, and I think we're gonna have to compare quite a few of those especially. And then we've got these turquoise ones, sort of an aqua Tiffany box, blue green, and then some even lighter tones down below. So we are gonna pull probably those four to start. I think are the closest to each other. We have Koki Cosmetics Oceana, Zoya's Charla or Carla, Sinful Colors Nail Junkie, and J. Ren's Meringue Madams, and see how they compare. All right, so here we have the Koki, the Zoya, and the Sinful Colors, and then we have J. Ren's there at the end. So very different finishes. We have more of a large particled shimmer from Oceana. We've got some glitter in the one from Zoya, but it's kind of more on the subtle side. It's that green flash they're seeing in that deep teal jelly base. And then Nail Junkie from Sinful Colors is a lighter base with a lot of iridescent glitter. And then the J. Ren is closer in color to the one from Zoya, except it's got flakies instead. So I probably only need one of those for this summer rack because they are pretty similar in tone. So I think I want to try, is it Carla or Charla? I'm actually not sure, but I think I want to try that one because I've heard a lot of good things about this one. A lot of people really like that one and have it on their favorites list, and I have yet to wear it. So Zoya is going to go on my summer rack, and then J. Ren's going to go on my try again later pile. And then of these other two, they are again pretty different but same in tone. So would I go for shimmer more or glitter? And I think I already have some shimmers from those other color categories, so I think I want to go with glitter. So Sinful Colors Nail Junkie is going to go on my rack, and Oceana is going to go in my try again later. I did wear this already. I think I wore it close to when I originally got it. Next up, we're going to compare these three. We have Zoya's Muse, Fun Lacquer's Northern Lights, and Swamp Gloss's Midtown High. Again, not dupes, just want to see how they compare since they are kind of in the same color family. Okay, so here are those three. We have the Zoya, Swamp Gloss, and Fun Lacquer there. Again, very different polishes. The Fun Lacquer still is pretty unique even in these three, even though the base color is pretty similar as far as like the type of blues. I love the green, and I splurged when I bought this one, and I still have yet to wear it, so I want to put that one on my summer rack. And then of these other two, we have the Zoya and Swamp Gloss. I think the Zoya is pretty similar to the Nail Junkie from Sinful Colors. Not the same. They are two different tones of blue. We have more of a blue leaning blue in the Zoya, which was a Muse, I believe, and the Sinful Colors is a bit more of a green leaning blue, but they're similar enough in the glitter combination that I think I'm okay with just the one on my rack, but I do want to add that Swamp Gloss to my summer rack. All right. So next up, we're going to do, well, I guess these last four, even though, again, I know they're not dupes. We have multiple different finishes. We've got Sinful Colors, Gorgeous, Ethereals, Sagittarius, Bee's Knees Lacquer, Well of Memory, and Wildflower Lacquer's Don't Play Coy. And that one I want to say is probably going to be the most different because it's a teal and it has flakies. The Bee's Knees Lacquer is a large particled shimmer, as is the Ethereal, and then the Sinful Colors is almost like a metallic shimmer. So I want to see how they all compare again. The Sinful Colors is already swatched, so I think I'm going to go ahead and swatch the other three. Okay, so here we have the Ethereal, Bee's Knees Lacquer and the Wildflower Lacquer. And then that one is the Sinful Colors. So yeah, definitely different finishes. The Sinful Colors is a really beautiful mermaid shade, and that's one of the colors that I'm really drawn to for this summer. I think I want to stick this with actually this one down here, the OPI, and see how those two compare. But for these three, again, they're nothing even close to each other besides the similarities of two being a similar finish, but color-wise, they're completely different. Sagittarius is an absolutely gorgeous glowy polish. Look at that shimmer. The Bee's Knees Lacquer is almost more of a purple glow, and I mean, pardon the very sloppy swatches there, but beautiful color. And so is the Wildflower. I mean, we knew this, of course. Three fantastic brands. Of course, they're all going to be gorgeous. I definitely want to add Don't Play Coy from Wildflower Lacquer. That one is a classic and I still have yet to wear it, so I want that on my summer rack. These two, my goodness, I was really hoping that they would end up being a little bit closer to each other, a little bit more similar, so I could justify knocking one off. I definitely want the Bee's Knees Lacquer. That purplish tone in the base is fantastic. And then the Ethereal, oh, that is just so pretty. It's a bit brighter than the one that we kept, from, which was Carla or Charla from Zoya. And yeah, I think I want to add that. Okay, I want to compare Sephora by OPI, which is Mermaid to Order. All right, let's take a look at them in the bottle side by side. I would say the immediate difference that I'm noticing is Mermaid to Order might be a bit greener, and I think that does play out on the swatches. Yeah, that definitely plays out on the swatches. I'm not sure how well that's going to come through on camera, but the one on the left is the Sephora by OPI. Here is the Sinful Colors. It's definitely more of a blue. Mermaid to Order has a bit more green in there. Both have a very similar finish though. I think I want to put the Sinful Colors on my rack. So that means that the Sephora will go in the Try It Next to Year pile. All right, next we're going to do these two. We have Pretty Beautiful Unlimited's Morning Mist and Nicole by OPI's Turbo Teal. Again, obviously they're not going to be dupes of each other. We have completely different finishes yet again. A shimmer versus a sort of a kitchen sink polish that has flakies and hollow and shimmer. This one is already swatched, but I want to see how the Nicole by OPI fares against it. Alright, so on the left we have the Nicole by OPI, the right is the Pretty Beautiful Unlimited, and I really thought that they would be closer in tonality. The Nicole by OPI though was rather sheer. I think I would need at least a third coat to reach mostly opaque, and I'm still not sure if it would reach very rich of a color compared to the Pretty Beautiful Unlimited. So I think I want the Pretty Beautiful Unlimited on my rack, and then this will go in the Try It Next Year or maybe even D-Stash. I'm not really sure on that. Next up, let's do our deeper turquoise specialty finishes. We've got the Pacifica in their Bio Glitter line called Alien, and then a Swamp Gloss called the A-Team Meets Scarface. They're, again, very different. The Pacifica has a deeper tone to it, more like a slightly dusty green. Then it has shimmer and those biodegradable glitters, which I think might be curling. I don't know if you can see that bit of texture that they're taking on, which I don't think they used to have. And then the Swamp Gloss has more of a brighter summer color, and then it has these pink to fuchsia to orange and gold iridescent flakies, and then matte white glitters. And you know what? I don't even think I need to swatch. I want the Swamp Gloss on my rack. Decision made. Okay. Next up, we have a Wildflower Lacquer, which was Buenos Amigos. And this is going to get a pass. I think just about any time a Wildflower Lacquer is on my rack of potentials, it's probably going to go directly on my rack. This is one that I've heard people raving about, and even though it does have a little polish here, I think that might be from when I swatched it. I don't know if I've worn this, and I want to get that remedied. Okay, on to our creamier shades. I think here we might actually potentially have dupes. Here are three creamy turquoise colors, and at least two of them, nope, all three have flakies. So we have Bluebird Lacquers, You Are the Only Exception, Cupcakes Bathhouse, and then Top Shelf's Scientifically Proven. So all three are very similar in tone. They all have flakies. At least I think that one has flakies. Nope, I'm mistaken. The Bluebird lacquer has glitter. But let's go ahead and see how they all swatch together, because I'm pretty sure they're going to look at least close to each other, because they all have that sort of a milky turquoise base going on. All right, and yes, these are definitely pretty similar to each other. We've got the Bluebird, Cupcake Polish, and Top Shelf Lacquer, and at least in base color they are pretty close. I would say the most different is the one from Top Shelf. That's a little bit more of a deeper blue-green, but they are still in the same family. The Cupcake Polish is a bit more of a squishy formula. The Bluebird lacquer has a bit more vibrancy, just a touch, and then it does have the glitter as opposed to the flakies of the other two. I also think the Top Shelf has a pinch of hollow in it, so there's another difference there. Because of its nice vibrancy, I definitely want the Bluebird lacquer. That glitter is amazing, and I love this tone, that bright tone. But does that mean that I don't need that one? I would say yes. I would say I really like this, but if I have this, I don't need that one. So Top Shelf is going to go in the try it again next to your pile. Do I need a light flaky blue? For right now, yes. So Cupcake's going to go in the rack as well. And I'm onto another swatch wheel. All right, next up, we're gonna look at these three. I know they're not gonna be dupes of each other again, and I don't think they're even close enough to swatch. The Tonic is definitely opaque. That's Deep Secrets. Then we have Arian from Bee's Knees Lacquer. That I know is a sheerer, but still bright color. It's also a different shade than the Tonic. The Tonic is more of that deep sort of a jungle green, whereas the Arian is a bright, like pool aqua. And then we have Ethereal the Child, which is a sheer polish as well, where you have this blue base and then a very vibrant shifting green to gold shimmer. So I haven't worn Deep Secrets from Tonic, and I want that on my rack. Bee's Knees Lacquer Arian, I definitely want that on my rack as well. I have not worn that, and it's beautiful. This one is also a really beautiful color. This one is very sheer, so I'm wondering how I would play around with it. I would probably use it as a topper, and as crowded as my summer rack is currently, I think I'm just going to go ahead and hold on to this for another season and try it again later. All right, moving on to some of the aqua blue turquoises that have shimmer or something in them. Let's do those two with
that one, and maybe that one, and that one.
Quite a few of them. Okay, so I think the three that are the closest, maybe even that one, the four that are the closest, yeah, that one's just completely different. This one I think is going to get a pass as well because it's new and I want to wear it. It's also a Bee's Knees Lacquer. You're Not Unlovable. They actually came out with a mini collection in that last launch, which I thought was really amazing. And this is from the Everything Everywhere All at Once collection. And I have yet to wear this, and I absolutely adore this finish from them. So I want that on my rack. So we will be swatching these. We have Essence Mermaid Tails. We have Graceful Tranquil Gardens. We have Jessica's Out All Night, and then Sassy Sauce Two-Step Until Dawn. All right, so here we go. We have Essence, Graceful, Jessica, and Sassy Sauce. I think on camera they might come up a bit more similar than they are in person. The one from Essence is definitely the greenest. The one from Graceful Lacquer has an incredible larger particled shimmer. The one from Jessica is a bit different in the type of shimmer. It's the most finely milled of the four, so very fine shimmer particle. Very reminiscent of one of the first polishes that I had that was in this sort of a family, which I think came from Maybelline years ago. Kind of a sheer polish as well. And then lastly, we have the one from Sassy Sauce, which is one of the bluer ones. I think that one and the one from Graceful are the bluest, and then the Jessica and the Essence are the greener ones. So, which ones do I want on my rack?
They are all so pretty.
That's always my problem every single time I do these comparisons.
They're all so pretty.
I really like the Two-Step Until Dawn. That one is really pretty. It's also got a ton of shifts. I don't know how much those are going to be coming through with my terrible lighting down here, but we've got purple shifts and pink and a bit of orange. So that's going on the rack. Then I don't know, so far I don't have anything like that Jessica on my summer rack. But I really like that graceful one, and I really like the essence. I mean, this color grouping is definitely one of my first loves as far as nail polish goes, so it's not really a surprise to me that it is hard to make decisions. But if you've seen any of my other comparisons, you'll know I have a decision-making problem with a lot of colors. I just love color. I have a really hard time narrowing it down. Let's just say that for the time being, I think I have enough in the green family, and the essence really does lean green, as does the Jessica. So I think we're gonna just cut both, and we're gonna put the graceful in the rack. Okay, we're finally down to the last row. And I think these two are the most similar as far as the tones of them go, although they, again, are not even close to dupes of each other. We have the Nail Bazaar Galactic Mermaid and Garden Path Lacquer's Built to Protect, which I actually have to thank Restored by Polish for reminding me about because it was on their summer rack. When I saw it on her rack, I was like, ooh, wait a second, do I own that polish? It's a Fifth Element reference. I would hope I would have bought it. And sure enough, I did. So I had to pull that one. My question is do I need both? The reason I'm considering them against each other is they both have this similar, deeper, slightly dusty, but still bright turquoise leaning teal something in them. Now, the Galactic Mermaid is, of course, a holographic formula, whereas Built to Protect is a flaky with reflective glitter and micro glitter. And then look at all those flakies. Bam, in your face. Very, very pretty. I think that makes a decision for me. The Garden Path Lacquer is going to go in the rack. Nail Bazaar is going to go in the try it again next time. The next three that we're going to do comparisons of, again, not really dupes, but I will be swatching these two just in case. These three I feel are in the same light blue shade family. This one is the most unique because it is a topper from Zoya. This one is called Mosheen, and this is going to go directly onto my rack because look at those baby bar glitters. It is such a cute polish. It has little iridescent bar glitters as well as iridescent glitters, all in a squishy blue base, going on my rack. Then we're going to swatch these to compare, see if I need both on my summer rack. They aren't, again, going to be identical, but they're in the same ballpark. We have LA Colors Moment and Polish's Blueberry Fizz. All right, so here we have the LA Colors and then the polish. I will say my bottle of the one from LA Colors has definitely thickened up. I probably need to add a little bit of thinner to make that easier to work with, but they definitely are similar in vibe on the nail. From far away, you definitely get the same type of light blue. Now, there are differences, of course. The type of shimmer is very different. We have a more squishy base from Polish and a blue shimmer in that one. And then the one from LA Colors is actually quite indie inspired, I would say, especially for an inexpensive drugstore brand. This one has a lot going on in it. Not a large flaky, but a small micro flaky maybe. I'm seeing pinks, blues, and purples, and it is really, really pretty. Both, I would say, are really nice for summer, but I know I have creams, more creams in this shade range. So I think what I want to do is pull the polish onto my rack and cut this one for the time being, because I could always layer this over a cream and get a nice blue glow. All right, on to these four. I think we're going to compare. We have KB Shimmer's Happy Camper, which I think is going to be the greenest of all of these. Black Dahlia's Zora, Garden Path Lacquer's Good Morning Lollipop 2.0, and 77 Nail Lacquer's Stereo Glitch. Again, not going to be dupes by any means, but I want to see how they compare because they are all in that same sort of a green leaning turquoise. All right, so here we have those four, and like I thought, the KB Shimmer is definitely the greenest. Then we have the Black Dahlia, our Garden Path Lacquer, and 77 Nail Lacquer. Those are the three that are closest in tone. We have that, I think I said green leaning turquoise, but this is definitely like kind of a blue, green, aqua turquoise shade. It's kind of hard to pinpoint the family. It leans a bit bluer than the greens that we had looked at in the previous comparisons. And as you can see, we have three completely different finishes. The 77 Nail Lacquer is a fine shimmer. In fact, it's coming across on camera looking more like a cream color, but it is a shimmer formula, just a very subtle one. It's almost got like a darker, yeah, it's got that darker blue shimmer there. And I think there might even be a little bit of a purple shift in it, but it is subtle. Then we have those beautiful flakies from Garden Path Lacquer. Spoiler, that one's going on my rack. And then we have the Black Dahlia, which has a bit of hollow. It has shimmer. There's actually a lot going on in here, and I feel like my lighting is just really not doing that one justice. It has holographic, it's got micro flakies, and there's something else going on that's giving it a little bit of a speckled look. It is really, really gorgeous. All four of these are stunners, but the Garden Path Lacquer definitely is going onto my rack. The Happy Camper I feel is pretty close to Orly's Vintage, which I do have swatched. And yeah, I think they're actually a little bit different. That one is the Orly, that's the KB Shimmer. And by comparison, the KB Shimmer is a bit softer. Vintage is a bit more of like a pastel bleached neon, but I feel like I have already added a softer minty Tiffany box blue, which was Where's My Chauffeur from Essie. And obviously it's a shade or two lighter, but I've got the brighter one from Orly and then the softer one from Essie, so I don't really think I need a third on the same rack. So the KB Shimmer is going to go ahead and get the Axe. And then do I need either of these? I want to try this one from 77. This one is really pretty. It's a nice brighter color. It's kind of a cream with a bit of pizzazz because you do have all of the glow in it that I think would look stunning in the sun. So I do want to try that out. And then I would say I'd like to try this one as well because it's a stunning color, but they are similar enough in how they would look, I feel, on the nail. I mean, they're different. I know that, but I'm trying to talk myself out of having so many polishes on the same rack. I think that one can wait until next year. All right, then on to our three last ones, I think, for this video, because we're already looking at practically 2 hours worth of filming. I think probably over 2 hours worth of filming just for a couple of color categories. Yeah, I have no idea how much I'm going to be able to whittle that down for you guys. So we're going to end it here with these three and then come back probably at a later date for the blues, because that is quite the stack. I'll separate out some purples and we'll do a few more, but we have Jen & Barry's $100 Glow Bracelet, Glisten and Glow Baby Shark, and Moonshine Manny's Quasi Cupcakes. And obviously these are all three very different polishes, but they are in my specialty line because they all have colorful glitter. So the $100 Glow Bracelet from Jen & Barry's is a, I think, faded bottle, because the swatch pictures that I saw, at least in my app, had a different color in the base, but I really like how it looks as is. This one is a turquoise aqua that has these little neon green glitters and then bright, big neon pink glitters. I think that one is so fun. Then we have the Baby Shark from Glisten and Glow. I think this one was a polish pickup, I think, but I don't see it saying polish pickup on the bottom, but I'm pretty sure it was a polish pickup. And this one is a mid-toned blue full of a bunch of different rainbow color glitters. We have blues, pinks, yellow green, hot pinks, purples, all the colors, basically all the colors in there. I think we even have some little bitty square ones in there and some teeny tiny speckled glitter. Then in the Moonshine Manny, we have sort of a dustier turquoise, or maybe even a dustier teal, like a lighter teal. And then we've got some square glitters, some metallic glitters, and some flakies. So this is another one that has a very unique mixture in it. And I don't know that I need all three of them on my rack, but I mean, they're all different. So how do I decide? I think I want to go ahead and add the Jen & Barry's. I really like this, and I do have a lot of pinks on my rack. I think I could use at least one of those pinks as an accent nail with this, which I think would look really fun. The Baby Shark I have worn, and I want to say I didn't love it as much as I thought I did. So I'm trying to decide if I need to put this on my rack to try again. Maybe thin down and then try again, or try in a couple layers over a different color, or what the case is. But I think I want to wait because my rack this year is just ridiculous. I want to go ahead and just cut that for the time being. But I do want to try this one. I think it's really unique and I haven't worn it yet. I think this one might have come to me in a mystery box. So Quasi Cupcakes is going to go on my rack. And that's the last one for right now. All of these are going on my rack. But we have cut 36 polishes from my potentials, so that I guess is progress. I have kept quite a lot on my rack though, so I will probably have to whittle this down at some point. But in the meantime, hopefully you guys had a good time looking at some really pretty polishes. Hopefully it also gave you some ideas about which polishes you could pull, because just because I'm not wearing it on my rack this year doesn't mean that you can't wear it, because there's a lot of beautiful polish out there. And yeah, these are just some of the color families that I've really been enjoying and been drawn to for this season. So hopefully you guys had a good time hanging out with me and watching me trying to decide on which polishes to keep and which to let go for this season. As always, I hope you have a good rest of your day. If you're new, make sure to hit the little subscribe button down below. That way you don't miss out on any of my new videos, and I will see you in that next one.